Hey guys, welcome back to another UHC Duels video. Today's video, we're going to quickly go over something that recently I had to do, which was my recertification for National Lifeguarding. In Canada, specifically the province of Ontario, part of what you have to do in order to work in aquatics as either a lifeguard or swim instructor is to be certified in something that's called NL, National Lifeguard. That certification is usually paired up with your standard first aid. However, while standard first aid certifications last for 3 years, NL usually expires within 2. A few months ago, knowing that my certification would be running out, I decided that, hey, I need to make sure that I'm set up when my NL is expired. That way I can go right into a recertification as soon as possible to make sure that I've checked off all of the qualifications needed to continue working in my current job as swim instructor. Me being me, I made the awful decision to not practice at all, and that's a little bit of a mistake because part of your National Lifeguard recertification is both a physical component to it and a situational component. The situations are not too bad if you've done National Lifeguard before. Pretty much you're just reenacting situations where, oh, someone got injured in the water or something like that, and you are either rescuing that person as a solo lifeguard on duty or as a team. And those situations, as long as everyone knows what they're doing, they're not too bad. But the one thing that gets people the most of the time is going to be your physicals. Of the physicals, the hardest one to do is definitely going to be the time swim. And what it boils down to is being able to swim 400 meters in less than 10 minutes. That might not sound too bad, but if you're out of practice or you've never really swam for long distances, it's very tiring and can take a lot out of you. So when it comes to the day of, you bet I was surprised when our instructor was like, hey, we're gonna do the time swim right away as soon as we enter the building. Like, okay, get changed, let's go do the time swim. And I was like, oh no, because I didn't warm up at all. I wasn't even ready, and I was like, oh man, this is not gonna be great. But you know what? I'll go in the first batch of people going. It shouldn't be too bad, right? Wrong. It was pretty awful. I think my biggest problem was that during the time swim, I saw other people accelerating, and I was like, oh no, I'm not going fast enough. And because I'm swimming with no real sense of time, I start trying to match other people's pace. But the problem with that is that you start going so fast that you're going way faster than you should be in order to conserve energy as well as air when swimming. Man, I might lose this match. No, I could lose. Please. That was so close. Jesus. When I finished the first time swim, unfortunately my time was an 11:24, which is not great by any means. To understand how bad that time is, I wouldn't even be able to pass Bronze Cross's time swim, and that's one level underneath of National Lifeguard. So I knew I did pretty bad. Despite this, I was still confident that I can make the time swim in a second attempt on the same day. And you must be thinking, Crafter, how's that possible? Like, how can you get 1 minute and 24 seconds faster than what you're currently doing? And the answer is sticking to one form. You see, I was so panicked when I saw everyone else accelerate that I tried to do the same technique and form that they were doing, mainly front crawl. For non-swimmers, front crawl is pretty much one of your fastest strokes that you can do. However, it is probably the most exhausting, and it's something that I've never been super good at. So I normally avoid doing front crawl like the plague. But because I chose to do front crawl, and the one time I have to do a time swim, I gassed out so hard that my speed and pace were just dog water. It was so bad that every time I was going up for air, I was struggling because A, I was not getting enough oxygen in, and B, I was swallowing a little bit of water. So it was not looking great. Of course, upon reflection, I realized that maybe I can do another stroke. And this is important because the one stroke that I am by far the best at in terms of swimming is something called breaststroke, which is our second most popular type of swimming stroke to do when you are doing a time swim for National Lifeguard. If you want to imagine it, you can think about almost like separating your legs and then just clapping your legs together. It's supposed to be like a massive whip with your legs, and then you're supposed to glide. If you do it correctly, you exert a lot less energy than when you're doing front crawl. So when you're doing front crawl, you have to constantly kick your feet back and forth really fast, as well as do arms. And that's very tiring because it's a lot of movement repetitively while trying to conserve air. To ensure I would make the time by doing purely breaststroke, I had one of my fellow instructors, who was also there for recertification, do a quick time on me. And I did a very quick lap. Turns out I could do one lap around 48 to 50 seconds on average. And this is pretty good because in the pool that I was swimming in, each lap is around 42-ish meters. So if I were to calculate how much 400 meters is, it's roughly going to be 9.5 laps. TLDR, the maximum amount of time I have to do each lap is around 1 minute and 8 seconds. And I was doing each lap in 50 seconds with breaststroke alone. So I was like, wait a second. Even if I slow down by a margin of 18-ish to 20 seconds, I'd still make the time. So there's a chance. And when I was doing the test runs, I wasn't really getting exhausted from doing breaststroke. If anything, I felt like I could keep on going. Of course, I had to wait until all the situational stuff was done, like practicing saving people as a group of lifeguards or as a solo lifeguard on duty. But after the situational stuff went down, we went in to do our time swim for the second attempt, and I locked in, being able to manage to keep up my speed. Lucky for me, the instructor was telling us how much time we had left, especially when we were in the last minute, so I kind of roughly knew what pace I was on, and because of that, I was able to clutch up with a time of 9:52 on the second attempt. Which is great, because had I not been able to get it in a second attempt, I might have failed my NL Recert up front. This guy's killing me right now. Ooh. Hey guys, thank you again for watching all the way to the end of this episode. I won't even lie, the cues were very difficult, so it made it hard for me to commentate at the same time as focusing on making sure that I'm winning my matches. It might not be the most noticeable in my gameplay, but I kind of got a little bit lucky when I tried to record for, I want to say, the third time. In former recordings, I was doing okay gameplay wise, but I had pretty much gone mute because I was so focused on trying not to lose the match that I couldn't even really focus on the main topic at hand, which was the National Lifeguard certification, or recertification I should say. Anyways, that's all from me. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.